and welcome to this video where I wanted to talk to you about choosing the right colours for your animal portraits with pastel pencils. Now, if you're struggling to choose the right colours for your animal portraits with pastels and you're just unsure about what colours to invest in, or you're hesitant to buy a full set of pastel pencils, then I wanted to discuss today just how you can go through and select the essential colours that you'll need to still create beautiful and realistic animal portraits. Now, pastels can be an excellent medium for just capturing the soft textures and subtle shades of animal fur. However, choosing the right colours can be overwhelming, and especially with so many options available. So I want to help you simplify the process by recommending the most useful colours from the Faber-Castell Pitt Pastel range. Now, by the end of this video, I hope you'll have a better understanding just of which colours to start with and just how to expand your collection over time. So why Faber-Castell Pitt Pastel pencils? Well, the Faber-Castell Pitt Pastel pencils are a favourite among many pastel artists, including myself. And they're a slightly harder pencil, which makes them a lot easier to sharpen, which is important for beginners. And they're easy to blend and layer the colours. Now, the pencils come in a wide range of 60 colours, offering that versatility that's needed to create vibrant and realistic portraits. But do you need all 60 colours to get started? Well, not necessarily. While the full set does offer every shade you might ever need, it can be more cost effective to start with a smaller set and just add individual pencils as you go. So let's break down which colours are essential and how you can start to build your collection in a smart way. Now, when it comes to animal portraits, certain colours are more frequently used than others. Some of the most important colours from the Faber-Castell range that you'll find most useful for creating fur, eyes, and just other little details are the whites, the creams, and the black. Now, these colours are key for adding highlights and defining lighter areas in the fur or in your backgrounds. And they're especially helpful in showing the shine on an animal's coat or just creating a soft fur texture around the face. So we'll start with the white, the 101. Now, that's essential for your highlights and adding contrast. Our next up is our ivory, our 103. Now, it's a slightly warmer shade than the white, but it is good for blending into fur. You've also got the cream, the 102, which again is useful for eyes and also on lighter fur tones. And then, of course, you have the black, which is the 199. And again, that's just essential for creating that darkest areas and adding contrast to your drawings. Now, we move on now to our brown and earth tones. So we'll start with the burnt sienna, the 283. Now, this is a really versatile brown, and it's often used in fur and in your underpaintings and also backgrounds. And it is just a lovely, it's just got a red sort of tone to it, which is quite nice. You've then got the 177, the walnut brown. Now, this is a dark, richer brown that also works really well for those shadow areas. Now, you've got the terracotta, which is the 187. And again, that's ideal for reddish or golden sort of fur tones. If you were doing even a tiger or a giraffe, then this would be a lovely colour to use. You've also got the raw umber, which is the 180. And it's a darker brown and it is perfect just for those little details or maybe outlining. It's not as dark as your walnut brown, but it is a lovely colour. Now moving on from there, you'd be looking at your greys. So you have the warm grey, which is the 270, and that's just great for just some natural shadows and highlights on fur. And then you've also got the cold grey, which is the 230. And that's got a slightly more blue sort of tinge to it. And again, useful just for creating the contrast in your animals. Now, having both warm and cold greys in your collection will help you achieve more lifelike depth and shading into your portraits. Now moving on from that, you've got your blues and your greens. So you've got the dark indigo, which is the 157. And it's a lovely deep blue, which is lovely to put under a black, especially in things like maybe a black Labrador, if there is that blue tone in the fur. You've also got the cobalt blue, which is 143, and it's a darker blue, and it works really well just in eyes and little highlights or in your backgrounds. And then you've got your green, your 173, which is your olive green, and it's a natural green and often used a lot in backgrounds, or you can use it in maybe cat eyes or things like that. So again, that's another nice one to have. And then we finish off with our flesh tones and our pinks. So you've got the 132, which is the beige red, or it used to be called the light flesh. And it's really good for just soft skin tones, or, you know, little parts of maybe noses and ears. And that's a beautiful colour. You've then got a step up from that, the 189, which is the cinnamon. Now that works really well, and also blending sort of reddish sort of fur, but also again in ears and nose areas on cats and things like that. That's a beautiful colour. And just going one shade darker again, you've got the 169, which is the caput mortuum. And again, excellent for ears and noses. And it's just got that lovely, rich red sort of tone. And it's a beautiful colour to have. So when used sparingly, those pink and flesh tones can not only add character and life to your animal portraits, but it will make them just look more realistic. So just remember, you don't need to invest in a full set of 60 pastel pencils right away. In fact, many beginners start with just the basic 24 pencil sets, and then they gradually build their collections from there. Now, my foundations course within the Whiskers to Wildlife Academy is all done just using the set of 24 pastel pencils. So here's a smart way to expand your collection. Start small. Begin with the 24 pencil set, which includes a solid mix of those essential colours. Then you can add key colours. As you work, you'll get to identify the colours that you use most often. And these could include more browns, greys and creams that are all essential for fur texture. You can buy individual pencils. So the Faber-Castell range offers individual pencils for purchase. So this way you can slowly add the colours that you need without the expense of buying a whole set. Focus on your neutrals. Invest in those neutral colours like the browns and the greys, as they are used most frequently in animal portraits. And expand as you grow. As your skills develop, you may want to experiment with a wider range of colours and add more blues and greens and flesh tones. and they can all open up a whole range of creative possibilities for you. By taking a gradual approach, you can not only save some money, but you're also building a functional and versatile pastel pencil collection. So choosing the right colours for your animal portraits doesn't have to be overwhelming. Start with the basics, the white, cream, browns and greys, and these will cover most of the tones that you need for fur and your shadows. Then you can add a few blues and greens and flesh tones for that more detailed work. And as you gain experience, you'll develop a sense of which colours you use most often, and then you can expand your collection accordingly. Now do remember, light fastness is important if you're planning to sell or display your work, but for personal practice, feel free to explore all of the beautiful colours that are available. So I hope this has been helpful to you. And it will allow you to get started without that fear of having to invest in a large set of pencils that you may not use. So happy pasteling, and I'll see you in the next one.